Hello, hello, and welcome to Four Wheel Tech for August 18th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 20. I am Mayor Watt, and that voice you're about to hear and the visualizer right there is for the Sentient AI from the future.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens, and welcome to Four Wheel Tech.
You thought I was going to step on your lines. We're going to be talking about vintage Volkswagen Beetles, Hyundai Palisade investigation, and you get a landing craft. Refueling hydrogen in California sucks. Indianapolis Motor Speedway, electric cars with long range, Acura EV concepts, Nissan hybrid problems, Mercedes Maybach S1e20, and the Porsche Speedster Dreams. Everything is powered by ohmTown.com and whatever's going on. Yeah, you. So, I see you out there, folks. How y'all doing? How you doing? How you doing? Today we've got all 10 articles all set up, so let's get into it. I'm going to try and have a little bit of fun, but you know, the show's kind of tedious, like the host. You know?
What do you mean?
Oh no, just messing around. First article's over in Four Wheel Tech. Every vintage Volkswagen Beetle should have wheel spats and a built-in coffee maker. I agree. And you should hire a person to be your coffee barista. You need a barista in your Volkswagen Beetle.
I mean, if you're doing it right.
Life choices, folks. Daniel Golson over at jalopnik.com put the article together. Early Beetles have a jet age streamliner vibe that the author adores. So all cars should have the little dunk and apparently have a coffee maker inside it. I'm not sure if this one does. As a kid, the author of this article, again, Daniel Golson, was pretty obsessed with vintage Volkswagen Beetles and microbuses. I was taught how to drive manual in a Volkswagen, but not a Beetle, a Volkswagen Bug. They loved how diverse the enthusiast following was and how people would modify their Volkswagens to totally different, interesting ways. I actually know somebody, or knew somebody, I haven't talked to them in a long time, but they used to put like Porsche engines inside microbuses.
Very zippy.
Yep. There are also many ways to do up an old Beetle and are all valid, but they think that every bug needs one specific thing: wheel spats. So they're a fan of spats in general. Also sometimes called fairings, fender covers, and other things, this stuff.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh yeah, it was a thing. So Citroen does that, I believe, like they say here. It's for both style, and aerodynamics. Used by, if this car has any aerodynamics.
I mean, it's rounded, kind of.
I really doubt that is
but
doing
it doesn't
much.
seem like it's going down a racetrack or something.
Yeah, because look, used by cars like the Citroen DS all the way to the McLaren Speedtail. They're all at parity in terms of performance and price. Volkswagen offered wheel spats on early model years of the Beetle, and the author says they think it take its iconic design to another level. This one is a 56 Beetle that Gooding and Company has up for auction, and this is a perfect example, the author says. Look at that. What is that?
I don't know.
If you want today's show notes for Four Wheel Tech, you have to hit !FWT, and that'll post it into, ohmTown, the bot, will throw it into the chat. And you can follow all of those links to the show's articles that we're talking about. And if you want all of the podcasts, which they're up to date except for today's shows, so you'll have to get yesterday's shows only. You hit !pod. That'll link you to the Apple Podcasts distribution of all of the shows. And we have like a total of 1,100 episodes, somewhere around there. And then if you want show notes, you hit exclamation point show notes, and that'll throw a bunch of show notes. The syntax to pull the last show notes from the bot. And they're all updated. Tonight's last show is 4-Wheel Tech. So all of them are updated for show notes, but the podcasts haven't been updated since last week, or actually the week before for some of them. Don't worry, we're getting back into the groove. But Mayor Watt got pulled away and had to do 16 different shows in a matter of 3 days or something like that.
How'd that go?
It did not. So a dash-mounted coffee maker. That's wild. So that's what that is.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was a what is the thing? The carbonator thing?
Oh, like a soda stream?
Yeah, soda stream. It looks like a soda stream bottle. Yeah,
Yeah,
the black
does.
top and the curvy nature of it. Also looks kind of like a missile, which is kind of ironic. Anyway, so yeah, it looks like it's a fully restored. Look, it has a back speaker and everything. Look how posh.
Oh my goodness, this is so...
An intercom.
I
So
can't
they-
think of what the word is, but it all looks like it's on theme.
Is that a speaker or is that an intercom? Because if it's like a stereo thing for the back, that's one thing. But if it's an intercom so that you don't have to have direct conversation with the driver, that takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're not allowed to hear my voice directly. We
I
must
mean,
use...
you don't want to be... I mean, if you have a barista, right?
That's right. Yep. But you need to wear gloves. I can't touch the coffee that you make, with your hands. Ew. Moving on, next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech as well. Hyundai Palisade under investigation for seatbelts that could randomly unlatch while driving. Yay!
Oh, wow. Seatbelts have one job.
That's what happens when you make teenagers work at 3 o'clock in the morning in your factory. Maybe not in this instance, but yeah, Hyundai got in some trouble for, at least one manufacturing plant.
Right.
There may be serious problems with the Hyundai Palisade, the brand's third best-selling SUV. The Palisade's seatbelts may unintentionally unlatch while driving, and now the government is looking into it. You know how they find this out? They verify it by slamming on the brakes, and when a person shoots through the windshield, they go, yep.
Yep, that's what we thought was going to happen.
Bingo. So over 330,000 vehicles could be affected after NHTSA received 37 complaints about the seatbelts randomly unlatching. Lawrence Hobbs did the article.
If they had 37 complaints, think how many must have actually happened.
Yeah, that's a lot of complaints. I actually had something like this happen at it was Disney World. The arm
One
came
of the ride
down.
things.
Yeah,
Yes.
the arm came down, and everybody thought that it was fine. And as the ride was ending, I let go of the arm, and it just shot up. Everybody else's was locked. And the person at the end of the ride goes, "How'd you unlatch it?" And I said, apparently it never latched because I was holding on to it during the whole ride. And they're like, "What?" And I said, yeah, when it came down, I was holding on to it. And when I let it go at the end of the ride, it just shot straight up. And they're like, "Okay, we'll look into it."
I bet that car was out of service immediately.
So can you imagine you take a left-hand turn and your seatbelt shoots up to the corner? And
No.
yeah, probably lay an
Hyundai
egg right
is
there.
having a pretty difficult time.
It's just a bad year all around, man. But it's not 2020 bad, 2021 bad.
I mean, they had the thefts, they had the child labor
Manufacturing
issues, and
issues,
now
yeah.
they've got this, and I think
This.
they've had other recalls too,
Oh, they've
although a
had
lot
other-
of the manufacturers have.
Yeah, this article might actually have more of it. So the Office of Defects Investigation, which is really bad when you actually have an entire office for defects investigation.
Exactly. You shouldn't even need that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the industry is like complaining of oversight. Oh, we should be able to self-regulate. Oh, to hell with that. The complaints allege that without warning, the seatbelt sometimes inadvertently unlatch, increasing the risk of injury due to full loss of seatbelt protection in the event of a crash, and probably cause a crash because you're too busy wondering what the frick just happened.
Exactly.
So earlier this year, an owner detailed on Reddit how even after the seatbelt in their Palisade was relatched after it unlatched again. Seatbelt.
Oh,
No,
wow.
no, 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 no. It's like that little girl that was on the wall going down, 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 down.
Oh, yes.
You're like, I'm going to. Anyway, so if you own a Palisade, don't rely on your seatbelts until you get this checked. Because it apparently will unlatch with the frequency of a cheap ham radio and you don't know when.
Right. So how can you drive your car?
I don't know.
You can't, because you don't know when it could happen.
Just believe. Moving on. Next article is over in 4-Wheel Tech. Buy this U.S. Army landing craft for all your beach storming needs. Have fun storming the beach. Has this ever happened to you? You're scrolling Facebook Marketplace, eyes idly flitting across listings, and then you see it. And it's beautiful in all its industrial glory, with its back landing door down. Look at its rear end. Oh yeah. Maybe it's a pristine museum example. Maybe it's a project. But either way, it's got a horrible issue in that there's a body of water between you and that wonderful bodywork. Oh yeah. You just lower that back door. That's right. And then you buy this.
For your most practical needs.
So how else are you going to transport Facebook Marketplace shitboxes around? Amber De Silva proposes a landing craft. So, well, wonder no more.
How much this is. Oh.
It's a very reasonable price, according to De Silva. $425,000, and you can put a whole bunch of stuff on there. It looks like 2 dump trucks. Look at the dump trucks on her. Anyway, U.S. Army landing craft. There's no better way to transport a car around than an enormous military boat that's meant to drop tanks on French beaches.
Too soon.
That's funny. It's funny because it's true. So, in fact, you could just make this boat your home. It has bunks for sleeping and at least one table that could fit a microwave, which is more than you get in many Manhattan apartments. That's where I was going to go with this article. Live on the waves with your fleet of motor vehicles. If that's not ideal lifestyle, I don't know what is. The boat's currently located in the San Francisco Bay and maybe at the bottom of it at some point. But it doesn't really matter where you live because you can get it home under its own power. If you're an East Coaster, just take it through the Panama Canal. I cannot imagine there would be a single issue with taking a military boat through the Panama Canal. I love the writing. The writing in this is spectacular. Amber De Silva. Really? Amber De Silva. Okay. All right, folks. Well, look at that. You need a way to what?
I think that's made up for the article. Aquatizly?
Aquatizly. Thank you.
Maybe.
AI. Yeah. You need a way to aquatizly transport vehicles, and there's no better way than a truly enormous 3-engined U.S. Army craft. It's the best solution to your problems. Buy now. I love it. Oh, man.
This was a little out of the norm for 4-Wheel Tech, but I'm glad it was included in this week's show.
We need to do a monthly show, maybe on the Patreon. That's just like the web article awards, or the internet awards, the internet article awards, something. This actually has that subtle, like snarky nuance that really just appeals to me. Yeah. Oh, that's it. The smash or trash. You should do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So put together 10 articles and everybody in chat gets to vote if it's a smash it or trash it. All right. Moving on. Next article is over in Technology Today. Refueling a hydrogen car in California is so annoying that drivers are suing Toyota. Good God. When he first bought his Toyota Mirai in 2022, Ryan Kiskis was a happy man. It's kind of like buying a boat, though. He loved the idea of applying cutting-edge hydrogen fuel cell technology to environmental consciousness. But then the problem started. I don't know. Actually, we haven't read the article. Russ Mitchell from Los Angeles Times put the article together, but it's posted at techexplorer.com.
I think we can gauge that there might have been some problems, though. Based on the headline.
Car. It's a great car, he said. My background is an engineer, so obviously, what does it matter? Anyway, they're a huge automotive fan. Oh, because you're an engineer, you're an automotive fan. Anybody else out there an engineer? Oh, you're an engineer?
I think maybe the point is that you should know what you're getting into. If it's a problem for this person, it might be a problem for somebody else.
No. The implication here is that all engineers are huge automotive fans. That's
I
right.
Suspect
that's what it says.
The case.
My background is an engineer. I'm a huge automotive fan. Anyway, I felt that the world was finally catching up with what we have to do to cut greenhouse gases. Then reality crashed in. He soon learned that hydrogen refueling stations are scarce and unreliable. Welcome to the EV world too. Learned that apps to identify broken stations hand out bad information. Welcome to the EV world. And they're in a hydrogen fuel cell car. This isn't even an EV.
It's worse than EVs.
Yeah.
I mean, for accessibility.
Sure. Yeah. Learned that the state of California is far behind schedule. 200 stations were supposed to be up and running by 2025, but only 54 exist. So he has to move right next to one of those just to get
I was going to say, does he live within 100 miles of one?
He bought an apartment.
What if you have to go all the way to one and then you're out of power or whatever by the time you get there?
Here's one of the charging stations. He purchased an apartment on top of it just so that he knew.
Exactly.
It's 54 square feet, but I got access to a charging station. So since Kiskis bought the car, the price of hydrogen has more than doubled. Currently the equivalent of $15 a gallon of gas.
Wow. Well, but I guess the question is, how far does it take you?
So let's see. I've got a great car that sits in the driveway, he said. Brian Coolaway, I guess is their name, can relate. The retired Santa Monican bought a Mirai in 2022 as well. He likes his car too, but has been a total inconvenience. Complains about fuel. Hydrogen stations are either down for mechanical reasons or they're out of fuel, or in the case of Shell, they're rolled up on carpet and gone home. They're like,
no.
I'm outie. They don't don't get Irving Alden started. He runs a commercial print shop in North Hollywood and he leases a Mirai. He too loves the car, but the refueling system, yeah. Kiskis believes Toyota sales staff duped him. No, you're an engineer, bro. And a huge automotive fan. You should have done your due diligence. Come on. Who steps up to that plate and then complains that it's somebody else's fault?
Says that the salespeople said it was readily available. Now, we don't know if they actually made that statement. I'm just...
Yeah, trust but verify.
From the article.
Trust but verify, which is exactly what everybody should be doing with the engineering documents that come out of this guy. The decimal point is in the wrong place, sir. Anyway, Hyundai said that it shares the concerns regarding the current state of the hydrogen fueling system in California, and they're in close collaboration with a government agency such as the California Energy Commission, which provided a majority of the funding for public refueling stations. Man, that is such a risky click. If you don't have pervasive hydrogen fueling, don't get a hydrogen car. If you know that, go ahead.
Yeah, like what if you've never seen a hydrogen fueling station? Would you go buy a hydrogen fueled car?
Would you rely on a salesperson saying, "Oh yeah, they're all the frick everywhere. You can trust me"?
No.
No.
I wouldn't even buy or lease an apartment or house if I didn't have readily available gas stations around, or
it better be 5 minutes
depending
away.
on what type of car. Right,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
because that's something you kind of have to worry about.
Yeah, this is jumping out of the frying pan into the fire because you want to get warm. So who built the hydrogen stations in California? Not the car makers. Just as they didn't construct the nation's gasoline station system, they're not building the hydrogen system. That falls to hydrogen station operators, Iwatani Air Products, and True Zero, which is owned by First Element Fuel. Yeah, the industry is supposed to be supporting it, right? Like people...
It's worse than
companies,
that, but they're getting money from the state.
Yeah, but it's in an attempt to stimulate the ecosystem for hydrogen fuel. So they're doing their part, but people have to buy and believe. But if all of these systems are down because they're crap supported and prices are going through the roof, this is DOA.
Well, and it's a kind of a vicious cycle, right? Sure. Not enough users, then the costs are high, then nobody buy. I mean, we know how that goes.
Yeah, it's a downward spiral, right? Yeah, race to the bottom.
Yes.
So fuel, but then again, it might be greed on top of it. You know, oh, look, I can operate this at a 5% margin, but is it really worth my time to? I can go and start up a conventional ICE, a gas station and make 10 times what this hydrogen fuel crap is doing, unless the state, gets burdened by subsidies to my business. I don't know. It would be too risky for me to run one of these because there isn't enough customer base. So again, you have to see the writing on the wall. The reason why there's so many gas stations out there is because there's so many cars, and we got there because the effectiveness, efficiency, and capability of cars. That's why we don't ride horses anymore. They too took forever to recharge so that you can go long distances. Anyway, battery electric, far more popular. Fuel cell vehicles boast some advantages. The fuel tank range is 350 to 400 miles. A fill-up usually takes 5 to 10 minutes. There's a win. That alone should be the reason why everybody switches to hydrogen.
Well, if the manufacturers would switch more to hydrogen, but companies like, I think, Toyota really started switching away from it. Like they were all in on hydrogen and then nope, they switched directions.
Yeah, look
but
up the price of the Mirai.
I think it was because of the lack of infrastructure.
Look up the price of the Mirai. So nearly 18,000 fuel cell cars have been bought or leased to date in California, only 18,000. Since 2020, more than 10,000 fuel cell cars have been registered and hit California highways. Over those years, the net number of hydrogen vehicle stations increased by a paltry 2. One California station operator dropped out of the market earlier this year. International oil giant Shell had installed 7 hydrogen stations in California, with more on the way, but earlier this year it shut them down and refunded the $40 million plus grant money from the state.
Wow. So, that doesn't happen very often.
It doesn't even, it's not worth it. There aren't enough hydrogen cars. And who knows what the rules and regulations are, for crying out loud. Getting a CO2 tank, for instance, refilled takes special, you have to sacrifice somebody on an altar to get the rules and regulations. Opening a distillery, oh my gosh, you might as well
Byzantine.
Yeah, you might as well just jump off your roof and learn to fly. Got a better chance of that. Anyway,
don't do that.
At least not home distillation. You have to get a commercial location in many, 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 many states, and it's illegal in federal level. Anyway, so did you look up Mirai?
Yeah, $50,000 starting price.
Yeah, and no place to charge.
Win-win.
So, win. It's slightly more expensive than it should be, and you have no place to charge it. So car makers give new fuel cell owners a debit card worth $15,000 of fuel, but you can't get there. Another rich incentive to go hydrogen, but the steep hike in hydrogen prices has degraded the benefits. But $15,000, even at $15 a gallon.
I think that would incentivize me to get one if there was one somewhere in my vicinity.
It's 1,000 gallons worth of.
Exactly. How much do you need?
What are you doing? Like flying the Mirai from coast to coast twice?
I mean, ICE and EV aren't giving you $15,000 fuel cards.
Yeah, 1,000 gallons. If you get 30 miles to the gallon in the Mirai, because it's hydrogen, it's more efficient, maybe? I don't know. It's a lot of freaking traveling. And go back and forth across the nation like 100 times. Somebody has devalued $15,000 quite a bit.
I think they need some more hydrogen station companies in the mix.
Yeah, of course. Sure. And all that means is splitting water. Right? Hydrogen and oxygen. Okay, well, anyway. Moving on. Next article is over in Four Wheel Tech, Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum, auctioning off some of its most valuable cars. I won't be able to get into this too much. It's over at autoblog.com. Ronan Glon is the author of this. One of these could sell for $70 million. Full list of cars that the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum is parting with is as follows, and there's a bunch of them, about 10, 15. Auction house RM Sotheby's has been, I always thought that it had Sotheby's. I thought there was an R in there for the longest time. Anyway.
Is that a Mandela effect?
Yeah. But it's Sotheby's. Sotheby's. You have to say it like that. Sotheby's. So it kind of came across like Southern bees. Bees with like cowboy hat. Anyway, been commissioned to sell more than 10 cars from the museum's collection shown at the gallery, shown in the gallery above. Oh, it must be here under this. Y'all can go and check that out. I'm not going to do it. So the highlight from the sale is a 1954 Mercedes-Benz W196 Monza Streamliner driven by Sterling Moss and Juan Manuel Fangio. I think that's how they pronounce their last name. I'm not sure. It was an open-wheel race car when Fangio raced it in Buenos Aires in the 1950s, and it was fitted with a more streamlined closed-wheel body by the time Moss raced it in 1955 edition of the Italian Grand Prix. The aerodynamic styling helped him set the fastest lap time. And then there's another hugely significant race car in the batch, a 1964 Ferrari 250 LM assigned chassis number 5893. So boom, they got a Chevy Corvette SS Project XP64 too. Don't know what.
I mean, there are cars on here that I'm not familiar with, like the Italia.
Itala.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah, all of these are like older exotic cars that, like, I've never heard of the Sonic.
That one sounds interesting. The Spirit of America land speed record car.
Yeah. They have pictures here. View the pictures. So let's click that. Oh, it's all the same.
Oh, that's neat.
That's the Ferrari 250 LM. What?
Just with the old style numbers and everything, they look like they belong in a movie. I mean, I guess they're obviously real cars, but you don't see those.
And those are the real
driving
numbers.
Around.
That's how they had it in 1964.
I know, it's cool looking.
I said good day. Anyway, the museum is scheduled to reopen in April 2025 because it's going to sell some cars to free up space and make some money, and that's why some of the most expensive classic cars at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum will cross the auction block before the end of the year. Moving on, next article is over at Reality Hacker, 11 electric cars with the longest range. I'm going to run through this one really quick because it's all lies. Lies, smoke, and mirrors. You feel that draft? That's somebody blowing smoke. Christian DeLooper put this article together for digitaltrends.com. It's not this article that's, fibbing. It's EVs. Every year you lose efficiency. It takes forever to charge. I've been on this roller coaster and this soapbox many a time, so I'm just going to jump on past it. But they have a list of 11 cars, like it says. Lucid Air Dream Edition, Chevy Silverado EV, which I don't know how it could possibly have a long range anything. Rivian R1S, Tesla Model S, 3, Hyundai Ioniq 6, which this out of the whole batch is probably my favorite. Mercedes-Benz EQS sedan, which is probably one of the most expensive ones, I think, if I recall correctly. A Tesla Model X, Ford F-150 Lightning, Ford Mach-E, which is an abomination, and the Model Y. So, see a lot of Teslas. It's because there isn't anybody else putting any long-range anything out.
Well, and they were kind of the front runner in the EV space.
Well, yeah. Now they're kind of wetting the bed, particularly with the Cyber stuck. So Lucid Air boasts more range than any other electric car right now, but look, we're talking about $70,000 to $80,000. Yeah, it's not approachable. It's just not approachable. 420 miles of range, though, which beats every other electric car on the market right now. The Dream Edition offers 520 miles of range. Yeah, but then when you put this car
but when it's raining.
Yeah, or in the heat, or in the cold, or up a hill, it has to carry its own massive weight. Because the battery pack is just chunky boy. Anyway, Chevy Silverado EV, you put anything in the bed or tow, and it's 440 mile range. It'll probably get chopped into 150 mile range, and it's $100,000. I don't care if my truck can go from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. Can it act as a truck? Yeah. And it's not going to be able to tow itself anywhere after that. 440 miles gets turned into 220 miles. And then you have to sit around and pick your nose for upwards of 8 hours, letting it charge. Man, I am really jaded about EV tech. Because it's too damn expensive. It's like a New York apartment, right? There was a guy that was running for like governor or something like that on the platform that rent is too damn high. I'm starting to be like that guy. So Rivian R1S, 410 miles for the dual motor variant with the max battery pack, $76,000. I mean, that's a big vehicle for $76,000, I have to admit. But man, prices. Model S,
yeah,
$75,000. Says thousands of superchargers, but again, you have to sit around, pick your nose. 402 mile range, 359 miles of range for the Plaid, which is the high performance.
And most people can't afford a starting price around $75,000.
Right.
For a car.
Yeah, and that's my big beef about this. So then the Model 3, it's $40,000, but it's 272 miles of range. It says 363 miles is the upper range, depending on the model.
Yeah, but you pay more, right?
Yeah. So the longest range version of the Tesla Model S long range rear wheel drive, it's only rear wheel drive, $40,000. And it says the Model 3 is the cheapest option so far, starting at $38,990, which is probably not that. It's not the long range. The long range has a bigger battery pack. Then the Hyundai Ioniq 6, $37,500. This is probably the most approachable. It is, I think, stylish. I like it. Although its back end is kind of derpy. But Hyundai's pixel design elements, along with a range of up to an impressive 361 miles, depending on the trim you go for. So, base price $37,500. Then the Mercedes-Benz EQS sedan, $104,400, 352 miles of range, but it's luxury. Oh yeah.
Well, it better be luxury when you're sitting there waiting for it to charge. You're going to be spending a lot of time in that car.
Yeah, you can sleep in it. Have Uber Eats deliver some food. Tesla Model X, $80,000, 326 miles of range with the Plaid offering, 335 miles with the base offering. Supposedly not bad, right? I guess.
Yeah, but the price is not approachable.
$80,000? Come on, it's in the couch cushions. Well, don't let that one do. Never mind. Anyway, Ford F-150 Lightning. There it is again. Do they not have even a price on this thing?
This one is so pricey. They don't even. No, I don't know. It's probably around what, $50,000 or something.
They say the truck can charge at 155 kilowatts, which will allow it to charge from 15 to 80 in about 36 minutes. Okay, 36 minutes to get 80% of your battery back. The remaining 20%. Now I can fill my car up 5 minutes to the point where I am filling up the fill tube with gas. And I could probably get 400 miles out of my tank if I do that kind of shenanigan.
57 to 95K.
Yeah. So 57, this thing would probably power down by the time you get it out of your driveway.
Right, because it's up to, so who knows?
Yeah, downhill in a hurricane, 320 miles an hour. Ford Mustang, abomination.
No, the Mach-E is, not the Mustang.
Yeah, the Ford Mustang. I like a Ford Mustang, but the Mach-E, no. There's just something wrong with its design. I just can't get into it. $40,000 base model. Says it isn't bad. 320 mile range up to, but again, you can charge that bad boy, but it's up to 80%. So 320 miles minus 20%. So you're looking at 260 to 270 miles on a good day. And that means one way, 135 miles. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Otherwise,
I'd like
you're going to have
see
to park
400 mile plus ranges on some of these.
Yep. Tesla Model Y. But even with a 400 range, so you drive 400 miles and then you have to sit for 8 hours while your car gets back to...
I agree, but you wouldn't have to be charging as frequently. But you still have the same problem.
Right. But again, I can drive down either coast on a single tank, fill up in 5 minutes, and go back. Anyway, long range Tesla Model Y, 320 miles, 308 miles with all-wheel drive, 279 miles if you want performance. Starts at 50,000, 45,000. Which again. But again, the supercharger network being no small perk is an inconsequential perk when my time matters. You know, we as consumers
and also,
should be demanding
if you live in a
more.
place where there's not tons of Teslas.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, you have to spend $8,000 to get a charger in your garage, and that isn't a supercharger. So, moving on. Next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Acura's performance EV concept looks like angry sports boat. Acura has a new EV concept debuting today, which is 16th, at Monterey Car Week. This is a weekly show. It'll be part of the replay, by the way. I'm going to put all 6 of the weekly shows and both of the weekend shows in the rotation as soon as I can, which hopefully is by tomorrow morning. Anyway, dubbed the Acura Performance EV concept, the crossover SUV looks like a boat-like front end that resembles the Precision EV concept from 2022, but with a sportback style rear. I like a sportback style rear. Whoa.
Oh, it does look like a boat on the front.
Wow, it can cut through the waves like butter. Umar Shakir put this article together for The Verge. Deck statement says the new concept represents the first electric vehicle Honda and Acura will make without GM's Ultium platform. I guess the Ultimatum was abandoned. I don't know if there was one. But anyway, the new Acura concept is a representation of an upcoming electric model that is planned for production next year at Honda's new manufacturing EV hub in Ohio. At a media event today, which is again the 16th, Honda's global executive VP Shinji Aoyama told Motor One, which we should probably pay attention to that, that there's also a new NSX type electric sports car in the works for 2027 or 2028. Oh my. An NSX.
Interesting.
Wow. Zoom freaking zoom. All right. So the concept as shown has 23-inch rims that have spokes with variable spacing designed to evoke a sense of movement even while still. All right. Wow. I like that profile. If it were to actually... Oh, and it has no door handles. So, wow. Smooth. It's actually a very pretty car. I really like that.
No, it looks very clean.
Now make it a hybrid.
There you go.
Make it an all-wheel drive hybrid. Yeah, at least dual motor. If you could have 4 hub motors, that would be great. But all-wheel drive, 400 miles range, and hybrid. 0 to 60, 5 seconds. Maybe even 6. You're on par with like a $35,000 car. I don't know why the design has to equate to a higher cost, right? Because you're still stamping out the same metal.
Exactly.
This design on a Mazda should be the same price as a Mazda body on a Mazda, right? But somehow this
Agreed.
car is going to be $65,000. Not because, and I'm not talking about the electronics and the EV componentry and all of that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about the design. You know, there's some MBA sitting there at Acura going, you know what? We could probably get another 15% from people because it's a sexy design.
Right, how about just put a car out there that works well,
Yep.
looks good, and doesn't cost a ridiculous amount of money?
Yeah, but the moment that you drop the price to $35,000, it's basically a brown box. And then people
You
keep
mean in
asking me
terms
for,
of aesthetics?
yeah. And
Yeah.
people keep asking me to deliver their packages. You're the UPS guy, aren't you? No. It's just a cheap car. Leave me alone. Moving on. Next car. Man, I keep saying next car because it's the automotive show. But
Well,
anyway.
that's kind of accurate.
Damn it. Acura, you say? No. Nissan's hybrid problem goes rogue. I can't talk about this because the article is behind a soft paywall. I get blocked because I'm air gapped, and I didn't log in. I'm a big dummy. But anyway, Rogue deliveries fell 29% in the second quarter despite a mid-cycle update that arrived earlier this year. And so Urvach.
So I didn't know that Rogue was
Carcaria.
available in hybrid.
Well, that's just it. Nissan's hybrid problem goes rogue. So it says,
Are they adding a hybrid Rogue?
it's the only major automaker with no, it says mild or plug-in hybrids in the US. So it doesn't have one, but this is a Rogue crossover.
Do you think? I don't know why that is. I wonder if they were originally planning to go not hybrid, hydrogen or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But the reason why I actually clicked this is because the deliveries fell 30% in the second quarter, even with an update. So why was that? The article doesn't go into any detail about
High
it.
prices, maybe?
But it has to be
cheaper cars that
cheaper
are
cars.
comparable.
Yep. That's what I'm thinking. Unfortunately, I can't get into this. I didn't log in. So, all right, folks, let's just move on. You can go over and check it out. You won't get hit by that. But I did. I don't think you'll get hit by that. So the next article is over in Four Wheel Tech as well. 2025 Mercedes-Maybach S680 Edition Nordic Glow has a long name for a short run of cars. Yep. So these are one of these like land boat kind of cars.
Yeah, I think it's going to come with a hefty price tag too.
Oh, yeah, just wait. So Joel Stocksdale over at autoblog.com put the article together. Yeah, did your brain jump right to that?
Yes.
Yeah, how much is it?
$340,150.
But
you
it
know, if
includes
it's
the
already
destination.
340,000, could they lop off the 150?
No, that's the destination fee. It includes the destination. Come on, it is a budget deal. This is entry level. Come on, tourist.
I think that's about the average home price in the United States.
I think you're right, actually. Yeah. So you can live in your car. It's a mobile home. There's no cup holders either, so you have no place to take a shower. According to Mercedes, the car is inspired by the breath. The car is inspired by the breathtaking violet glow of Aurora Borealis over the gleaming white landscape of the Arctic Circle. Since an aurora can be a few colors that shift over time, it might have been cool for Mercedes to spring for some kind of color shift paint, but the purple is nifty. It's like this subtle purple. I think that might actually be part and parcel to the Maybach kind of style. I think that's like the royal. Anyway, inside is much more restrained. The seats, including the executive package reclining rears, which everybody enjoys a reclining rear, are finished in what Mercedes calls rose gray leather with amethyst gray contrast stitching. As you can see, the emphasis is on both. Those should absolutely be gray. Gray. It's rose gray. Amethyst gray. But we have to jack up the price, $340,000. Anyway, dark herringbone walnut wood trim, embroidered pillows and carpets, and a badge in the center console noting the special edition's rarity. 50.
I guess no allowing any red fruit juice in this car.
Yeah. Crayola crowns. I mean, it's an interesting... No, I'm sorry. No, this is... even if I had $340,000...
Okay, so for that price...
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it.
You could buy, 6 other cars.
Yeah, but
roughly.
None of them are going to be a V12. Anyway, the base S680 is $240,000, so this executive one kicks it up a notch. All right, pores. You can be the barista.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, man. I'm going to be the one that's holding the luggage.
Does not have a Maybach either.
I'm the one that's going to be in the trunk holding down the luggage. Just so I can be near the car. A rare Porsche Speedster is built from a designer's dream. This article is over at autoblog.com. It says this is the only...
That has a face on the front.
Very happy car. Stephen Williams put this article together over at autoblog.com. This is only the third example of this particular Porsche model to exist. That's pretty cool. A rare Porsche Speedster is built from a designer's dream. There's a lot of pictures over here. There's 7 more pictures of this car, but I need to motivate y'all to go over and check out these articles for yourself. So there are Speedsters and there are Speedsters, but up to now, only a pair of 911 993 Speedsters were produced, owned by 911 designer Ferdinand Alexander Porsche and comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Trazzy's model, now the third, includes a signature feature, the fixed cowl that sits on top of where the rear seats would typically go, and that's right back there. It looks like a Viper convertible with a Porsche front end. So,
it does.
And so, I mean, it's much more compact, all-wheel drive, better handling. Probably doesn't ride like it wants to break your spine. I've driven a Viper, and yeah. Either that particular build was stiffened or the chassis was bolted directly to my tailbone.
You pay extra for that, right?
Yeah, and it still hurts. I mean, my butt hurts right now. Anyway, Porsche upgraded the Trazzy Speedster's mechanicals while they were at it. The engine, chassis, steering, and brake system are from a 911 Carrera RS Type 993. At that time, the air-cooled 6-cylinder Boxer was the most powerful engine from Porsche, with a displacement of 3.8 liters, generating around 300 horsepower. This thing weighs as much as a thumbtack and has 300 horsepower. Yeesh.
That's going to be rather zippy.
Yep. All right, folks. Well, that's it. That's a pretty car. I mean, if I wanted a Porsche, I would probably get that kind of a car. But let's see. There's only 3 of them, so probably makes that Mercedes pale in comparison.
But I like this better than the Maybach.
Right? Yeah, because it would just be you driving and a passenger, nobody else. Or in my case, me and maybe somebody giving me dirty looks because I'm driving it alone. Anyway, so I'm going to hop in my Porsche of my dreams because it's the only way I'm going to get one, and drive back to 4Wheel Tech's main page over at ohmTown.com. With that in mind, I think you should drive over to ohmTown.com and become a citizen, and then race over to YouTube. Follow us there, like and subscribe, download, watch all of the videos, and like all of them. And then come over to Twitch and follow us there as well, and then download the podcast, leave a 5-star review and your comment, and I'll quote it verbatim. Then hang out in the Discord. That place is really, like, I don't know. There's not much going on because everything is done live or done in email, or I don't know. Sometimes they throw Molotov cocktails at the mayoral mansion for the jokes I'm telling. But that's it. I'm Mayor Watt, and that's the visualizer for the Sentient AI. You want to say bye?
Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for 4Wheel Tech. We'll have another episode of this next week, but stay tuned tomorrow for non-sequitur news.
Unless we have an impactor. Oh, I like the music.